We are always happy to find you here on the tubes of you on yet another fantastic Friday morning. And we are always ecstatic to find you in the spookiest of seasons. So welcome to Disinformed After Dark. I'm Shane.
I'm John.
And I'm Michael.
Whoa. So, for the uninitiated, like Pinkie Pie here, you may know that we have a happy little podcast that flees every Monday morning called The Disinformed Podcast. And this is our glorious video companion podcast to that airs every Friday, where we, whilst waiting for our files to upload, will delve into Chuck Klosterman's glorious and uproarious hypotheticals. But this week, in honor of Halloween and John's still, never being prepared, and yet always being prepared, like the worst Boy Scout cuck.
Yeah, I'm prepared in the way that I'm meant to be.
Yes, you can prepare to not be prepared, and
Would you say
that is what John does.
Yeah, sometimes ideas, Shane, they just sprout.
Stop, please. Please.
The cheek shine is something I know you're adept at. I just haven't seen it on this half of your body. So,
Ooh.
Well, what I think you were trying to segue into.
I was.
I forgot on the episode proper this week to fulfill following up on 2-sentence horror stories. I incorrectly. Is that blueberry pomegranate?
It is.
Oh man, I need to come to your house. You got all the good stuff.
You certainly do, and you can see our wonderful.
Oh yeah.
Damn the weather koozie there.
Ooh.
So incorrectly, I said it was 1-sentence horror stories. It's actually 2-sentence horror stories.
Indeed.
So it originated
Still have
on
acid.
Reddit. Yeah, quarter ass, a whole ass. So I will read a couple off the site, but it originated on Reddit, and essentially it was just someone saying, "What's the scariest story that you can tell in two sentences?" So there's a picture in my phone of me sleeping. I live alone.
I like that one.
That's not too bad.
Ooh.
My sister says that mommy killed her. Mommy says that I don't have a sister.
For those who followed the Satanic Temple episode, that one's particularly poignant.
Yes. Also, if you've ever watched The Lodge or was it Yes Mommy? Whoever directed The Lodge, his first movie.
The Lodge sounds to me like, on the Flintstones, the venerated order of the Pooba.
Yeah, if you ever wanted to watch a movie that literally had no brevity and there's no light and just the gloomiest movie you could watch, just watch The Lodge. There's no joy to be found.
Were you going for levity there?
I was going for that.
Because I was going to say, I've seen Kevin Smith films. Brevity is not something that I typically go for in a film, but I'm with you.
As pronunciation is to Michael, words are to me.
We all do it, my
I'm
friend.
so
Unfortunately,
sorry.
I just tend to, call it out because, as we've talked about on this week's
You're the
episode, I'm
intellectual.
kind of a prick. So...
Can you get away with that on YouTube? Is it your turn this week?
Apparently.
Well, you both.
Listen, the
used
word
A-word
ass
earlier,
is
so-
appropriate in any context because, as we've learned from our biblical studies, Moses tied his ass to a tree and walked 40 miles. So if it's in the Bible,
woman.
it's acceptable. If I've learned nothing from the Republican Party,
Do you guys want 2 more?
please
Sure.
give me 20 more.
You hear your mom calling you into the kitchen. As you're heading down the stairs, you hear a whisper from the closet saying, "Don't go down there, honey. I heard it too."
Ooh.
All right.
And yeah, this is a good one to end on. The last thing I saw was my alarm clock flashing 12:07 before she pushed her long, rotting nails through my chest, her other hand muffling my screams. I sat bolt upright, relieved it was only a dream, but as I saw my alarm clock reading 12:06, I heard my closet door creak open.
Spoopy.
they're
They're
making.
It's kind of
ham-fisted.
that's a little bit of a
But,
stretch there.
This is a run-on sentence for sure.
Yes, but no,
I would
like
would
what
write
they're
on
doing.
there is come see
Oh,
teacher.
hold on. Sorry, this is
Come
for
see
Michael.
teacher.
Yeah,
Come on, teacher. I can't
come with
move.
teacher.
I can't move, breathe, speak, or hear, and it's so dark all the time. If I
I'm
knew it'd
Stephen
be this
Hawking.
lonely.
Sorry, I
Wait,
had
you
to
know-
stay on brand for a second.
Bruh.
If I knew it'd be this lonely, I would have been cremated instead. Way
Yeah.
to turn the horror story.
2-sentence comedy.
Oh, let's not turn this grape into a murder, gentlemen. So,
Well, there you have it.
I will expect more of these when we get to so we talked about on this week's episode for the end of the month to commemorate the 30th of October. We are going to have a dedicated, scary episode here. So I will expect more 2-sentence horror stories there.
I will find more.
All right. I look forward to it immensely. Gentlemen, are you prepared for the hypothetical?
Ah!
Oh boy, howdy.
Yes.
Hype man Michael. Stunt man Mike.
You can
Oh,
do it
yeah.
if you kind of want to, but only if you had the time to maybe do it a little bit. But I liked the one sentence that you said. I'm Michael.
You needed to
It's
do that
Lovecraft.
in the Boomhauer parlance.
Yeah.
And then
Oh man, I really like that one sentence that you said with that one thing you explained, and that reminds me of the one time when I said that sentence myself, and the context was that I was explaining it to someone that I met, but I only met him that one time, and the whole reason
Well,
why I met him was to explain that sentence, and it was a good sentence, but
Y'all wanna hear about
My
that?
name's Michael. My name's Michael, and I went to Kentucky one time, and I had a KFC sandwich one time at a KFC inside of Kentucky, and that is why I know what a meta thing is, because a meta thing is a meta thing does, and I ate a Kentucky Fried Sandwich inside of KFC. So, and ipso facto, I have a...
I don't put myself to sleep.
Yes, you
Hey.
do.
Don't lie.
I saw you yawning.
Y'all want to hear about that
I
time
can be
that I
tired
smoked
from.
weed? Hey, I smoked weed that one time? You all want to hear about it? Let me tell you a story. Here it goes.
You asked for that, okay?
I did not. I still insist. That was John. I wanted no part of this because I knew where we were going.
There are only two kind of Michael stories, and they go a little bit. It's either Once Upon a Time, the end, or it's Once Upon a Time, 3 hours later, the end.
And they're about the same amount of stuff that happened.
Oh,
Physics.
yeah, absolutely. When you tell a story, you try and pretend like you're Nolan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people
And I make just as much sense.
they start walking through doors backwards somehow.
Yeah.
It's quantum mechanics.
Anyway.
Triggered.
Trigger warning for physicists floating around here.
Uh,
Well, and a trigger warning for those of you who are uncomfortable with the human body, because this week's glorious hypothetical involves the nude acquaintance.
Oh, man.
I swear that wasn't me looking that up. It was always on this computer.
We've talked about clearing
Sorry,
your
God.
browser history, my friend. All you've got to do is just open, an incognito tab every once in
Just
a while.
one.
Does
Jeez.
Microsoft, does Windows Explorer even have that? Internet Explorer.
Maybe you should
Whoa.
just be...
Whoa.
Maybe you should just enter 2020 with the rest of us normal people and just have Chrome.
That'd be wise.
Why would I put Chrome on my computer? Like, I feel like it would be too shiny.
Because it's cool, yo. It's like a
All right.
lowrider.
It's the future.
Can you put the bullet of a topic through this man's brain already, please?
I'm trying.
And me.
I'm just going to get you that on a t-shirt. All right.
And
I want you to think of a specific friend of yours. Not your best friend, but someone who is A, more than an acquaintance, and B, physically attractive. Well, those are none of my friends.
Oh,
Yeah.
now this is too difficult.
Straining credulity here.
Ugh.
One day, while trolling the internet, John, you accidentally come across 3 nude photographs of this person reclined on a sofa bed. The pictures were clearly taken several years ago, and it's unclear if the photos were casually posed or taken without the subject's knowledge. Your friend looks uncomfortable, but he or she is never looking directly into the lens of the camera. Your friend looks comfortable.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that changes
Like,
everything.
Yes, I was gonna
this
say,
is a whole different story.
we
I
were
was like,
getting-
this-
Wait a minute.
yeah.
A B-roll from R. Kelly, apparently. Your
Ooh.
friend looks comfortable, but she is never looking directly into the lens of the camera. The pictures are not labeled, and your friend's name is not listed anywhere on the site, but you're certain that this is the same person you know. What do you do with this information? Do you tell anyone?
Okay, well, to start, I masturbate.
Yeah.
That's step one.
I mean, that's step
Regardless-
1, 2, and 3.
regardless-
And
Regardless,
to
it
10.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a hot female acquaintance or friend or male friend. Either way,
Or none.
if I'm finding
Plus.
if I'm finding this video, it means it's my time that I do this thing every day.
It's
And
my time.
you, for anyone, I don't know how to make this YouTube safe and get into the detail that needs to be had here, but
You
if
curate
anyone has-
your own
if anyone
material for your
has
own enjoyment.
experience with that time where you need to release tension.
I just like that we've culminated from the Nutbusters last week to the Goonies here, where, up here, this is your time, but down there, this is my time. It's my time down there.
As everyone should be well aware, having your you time is almost always 80% finding the material and 20% fulfilling.
Okay.
So if I'm finding this picture, it means I've spent 80% of my time already, and the 20% I just need to get out of the way.
John, you haven't been around me because most of 80% of the time is trying to find me, and then 20% of the time is trying to get over the hill.
So the question, just so I'm clear, is do I tell the person that I found the picture?
Just
No,
what do
the
you do with
question
the
is what-
information, basically? You can not tell the person. You can tell the person. You can share it with friends and family. You can post it at their workplace. I mean, a world of options are available to you.
Okay, well, if it's someone that I know that you and I, or that we run in similar circles with,
Mhm.
it wasn't sent to me personally, so that ethically I don't have to feel bad about like forwarding it over and be like, hey, I found this. Am I crazy? Is this who I think that it is?
Yeah.
Now, however, if it was sent to me privately, that raises the ethical question of like, you shouldn't share something that someone intimately shared with you. And we all know the ins and outs of that. So what I think I would do with that information, I would probably just feverishly do myself.
The fappening, yes.
Mm-hmm. I'd probably send it over to you guys or the band thread and be like, hey, did we play a show with this person?
Odds are yes.
And then 3, depending on the individual, I might just send a text being like, good for you. Like
No context, just
for you.
good
Like-
for you.
Like I'm no,
Are you getting royalties?
No, seriously, just no context. That's the best. It's like, good for you. What are you talking about? You know what I'm talking about.
Winky face.
I'm married. I'm happily married, but good for you.
Yeah.
And then you just block them so they can't. So you.
Oh,
they can't,
no. That's a waste of good embarrassment.
Oh,
I was gonna say that's the Shane approach: is block everything and then ask questions later.
Well, lest you do that and then you get an awkward text directly being like, did you block me? And be like, yeah, I blocked you. Why'd you block me?
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
good for you.
Miguel.
I just got a fucking text from Becky.
Now
Therapy, happily married.
he did it this week. I'm still acid. I'm
Oops.
calling into question
Oh, no.
but
Oops,
yeah,
you did it again.
I'm going to go through. This is going to be a fun drinking game for those of you who actually watch this. So all 6 of you, I want you to sit and pay attention here. Enwrapped attention. Go back and watch these episodes and tally who is the one who got us demonetized on every episode. And this can be the home game. And once you've finished compiling that info, because I don't want to waste my life doing anything more trivial than this podcast, and that's a stretch.
Ouch.
I don't want to do this myself, but if anybody out there wants to be a diligent citizen and tally the number of times John has fumble mouthed this, or Michael has marble mouthed this, versus
Michael said it
me,
way more.
who has certainly occasionally marble mouthed this, but I still think I'm in the lead here for the least amount of profanity that has escaped me. But
All right, yeah, Shane, you're golden. When you get your new equipment next week, I expect you to put a halo on the video filter the
I plan
entire
to.
episode.
yes,
Michael, you're the one who tried to are making us do a clean show on YouTube, and you're the main reason that we're demonetized every week.
I'm not going to go with you on that one, John. I mean, we're splitting the difference.
Are you happy? Are you happy with what you've done, Michael? Are you happy being demonetized?
Well, I have to be monetized in order to be demonetized, and
Indeed.
anything I make is
you
doomed to fail.
$5 and then
So
request it right back.
Is that one of those hot and ready serves that you just gave him?
Yeah.
You sure got me there with that burn. Ooh-wee, ow! I'm gonna
Ooh.
need some ice for that.
Indeed. Okay. So,
Oh,
Michael,
man,
what do you do with these
really
photographs?
Suck if I found that.
I'll do it.
Pretty much. Well, not the first thing John did.
Okay.
Why but
not?
I would let them know. Yeah.
Okay.
I would.
Even if it's
Why
your
not?
mortal
Well,
enemy.
I don't know.
Let's say it's someone that you really hate,
I'm
like you can't stand.
You said.
Most of my friends I hate, as evidenced by this podcast. So I mean.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess most of my friends I'm kind of ambivalent to, so I guess like I don't really know. If I don't care about them, I would probably like maybe tell one of you two or something like that. Someone else.
Do you crank down or do you
crank up?
No.
I guess
believe
it
he said
depends on the
no, he was
situation.
not planning on it.
When I curate my own material for my own enjoyment time by myself.
Your alone time that you spend by yourself?
Yes.
Your spoogey Goonies?
I don't save any pictures. So like I walk past, I've seen past. I think in the past I may have seen one or two people that I recognize, but like, do I do anything about it? No. So I guess if it's someone I really knew, I would probably let them know. If I hated them, I'd probably not care. I'm very,
Okay.
very boring.
Shane.
Well, apropos, this has actually happened, and we have chronicled this actually happening on this very podcast. So whilst I was looking at Tumblr one day after John had relayed that glorious story about he and a former paramour making something adult together, as opposed to decisions, I found a photograph of someone who bore a very striking resemblance to the individual in question, who was posed next to someone's engorged crotch, basically, through pants. And so I, as evidenced, sent a picture of this to John, and I said, "Did I just find you?" And the person was like mock crying as well as they were down in the picture, which makes this even more horrifying because in the context I did not think this was what happened. And thankfully John said, "No, but I see what you mean. That's a very striking resemblance to me. Not so much a woman being photographed."
It's normal size. Yeah. It's not too big.
So, but also to speak to what I would usually do with this information, that's evident. But back in the day when I was working at Tower Records, we discovered that there was, and Michael's addressed something very similar to this as well, but there was a coworker of ours who wound up doing adult films.
Oh. Yeah.
And we discovered this, and we shared it amongst ourselves, and sort of ogled and goggled, and I didn't reach out to her by any stretch of going like, "Hey, so I see that your life has taken a bit of a change, a bit of a left turn, if you will." So, yeah, I don't think I would necessarily, depending upon my relationship, if it was like a bandmate of ours, I would most certainly be like, "Hey, so you might want to scrub over to John's favorite channel here, X Hamster, and discover what you've been doing here." But so this is stuff that we've documented. If it's a friend of mine, obviously I'm going to want to help them to try to save a little face, naturally. But if it's somebody I dislike or who I'm a
Then why are you
semi-close
wasting the
friend
effort?
with, exactly, I don't feel the need to do anything other than unburden myself in a certain respect, based on what John was saying earlier.
Yeah, doggy. I
Yeah,
got you.
yeah,
I know
you
what you're
know,
talking about.
feeding the
I found
geese.
your pictures.
That's
Considering
I've
we
seen some
blatantly
pictures.
said the word like right at the get-go.
oh yeah, I know. I just enjoyed the occasional
Algonquin?
euphemism. Winnebago?
Winnebago on
Winnebago.
Winnebago.
There we
Wait,
go.
when
Hey,
did
by the way, don't forget to send those clips, Michael. It needs to go into the intro.
I will. I mean, like, I didn't do that last time because I sent the completed product at 1 a.m. on Thursday morning, so I was kind of tired and I forgot about that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, we're watching this chat know how to include intro music on the video right now without using an editing software. I could throw intro music onto here too. I'm throwing intro music everywhere. Just
He's
So-
throwing it
spraying
like
intro
he's throwing
music.
ropes.
apparently you're just going to sit and hold your phone in your hand like we used to when we started
Oh,
recording
That
this
is what we used
podcast.
to do. Yeah, I'm prepared. I can do that.
All right.
If it requires it for the show, I would do that.
Well, and I'm apologizing to the both of you right now because as you're watching this back to proof this, and congrats to all of you glorious fans here, my internet connection got unstable right when Michael started speaking. And what's funny is when it did sync back up, he was still speaking as slowly as he was when the signal was being delayed. But then it lost a bit of John's initial bit here when we were speeding up and saying that we were going to get to the intro music. But
It's a courtesy I like to do just in case you lose your internet, so that you don't lose any important information from when I'm talking.
I appreciate that.
It's rigged for your pleasure.
Oh, just like throwing a nice little sap into a maple tree there.
Yeah, exactly.
Watch
Just
the
like that.
molasses trickle
Nailed it.
Ugh.
well, ladies and germaphobes and disinformants everywhere, thank you very kindly for being here with us. And since you're here and we are giving you this gloriously boring content, I want to make sure that you return a favor to us. Can you do us a little solid? If you enjoy what you're hearing right now, I would appreciate you follow Michael's very deft instructions to
Smash that like button, ring that bell, and hit subscribe.
Well done. He actually did it in one breath this time.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And also, if you dig what we do, rate and review. Go find us on the preferred podcast provider app that you utilize, and throw us some stars. Tell the audiences everywhere around the world what you like about us or what you dislike about us. Hey, we'll even take negative posts at this point.
Yeah, if you can handle it.
I mean, we can all handle it. I just have to find it first, as evidenced by our earlier conversation. But so if you are enjoying what you're hearing here, every Monday morning we've got a podcast that flees screaming into the world on your preferred podcast provider app, as I mentioned. So the Disinformed podcast available to you every Monday. And then every Friday you can find us here, as you have today, for Disinformed After Dark on the Tubes of You. And that's released every Friday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And then, as a further tease, in the future, presumably around November, we are going to start having a separate installment here on the Tubes of You as well on Wednesday, where we are going to do a new fan fiction reading of the Hogwarts School of Prayer and Miraculous.
Miraculous.
Yes.
Yes.
And so we hope that you will join us here. And furthermore, if you enjoy fan fiction, we did a full cast audiobook for more fan fiction previously. Yes, full cast. And it was a cast that was around something broken, obviously.
Full mast for full cast.
Thank you. And we did that for the inglorious fan fiction My Immortal, which you can find on Bandcamp right now, free for nothing, because we love you. And that's what we want to do for you. So in the link tree that you can find down below, it will include all of these links that I have just alluded to. So if you want to find any of these things, you can do so. just down below, right after you've clicked all the buttons that make us happy and make you happy. Maybe you'll find some photos of us later on.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Oh, Polaroid, see what develops. So, for this glorious and uproarious edition of Disinformed After Dark, I am Kenton Eldorado.
I am Timothy Lone Cactus.
And I'm Robert Greer.
Well done. You know, as I look at the clock on the wall, or the cock on the wall, it appears to be copulation time.